I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, July the 16th, brought to you in part by VITALIX. VITALIX is an American family-owned company for over 30 years. VITALIX tubs improve feed efficiency, conception rates, herd health, and average daily gain, also weaning weights, and it decreases feed costs, and you can also buy blends in these tubs that decrease the flies. Keep the flies out of your business. Also, they've got a tub giveaway. I've been promoting this here for quite a while. Through Feeder Flash, VITALIX is giving away free tubs. If you're watching this Feeder Flash episode on NationalBeefWire.com, click the banner ad that's adjacent to this report there with VITALIX. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the description in the link description where it has VITALIX. Click that link and you can go on there and sign up for your chance to win free tubs of VITALIX, guys. Also, Beaver County Stockyards. It was hot in the Oklahoma Panhandle on Monday. Talked to Lane Conkle and said they're going to have 2,500, maybe a few more. It's going to be mostly yearlings. And some really top quality, impressive kind of yearlings. They got 400 head of the Stedman yearlings in there. They're always the best at walks. They're going to have 1,800 to 2,000 yearlings. 1,500 of those will be steers, weighing from 800 to 1,000 pounds for the most part. They're going to have a couple loads, not that many yearling heifers, but 2 loads of 7-weight yearling heifers. Pretty fancy and quality there. Going to have a few grazing yearlings, which that's what everybody's really looking for right now. They're hard to find, but some 5-weight, kind of calf weight yearling grazers there. Then they're going to have 300 calves, but they will be mostly weaned this week. 400 to 500 cows. And in the cow offering, they got nearly 40 head of bred cows, heavy bred there, and nearly 40 head of cow-calf pairs. So if you're interested in that, check out Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. They are on DVAuction.com. Get a hold of them before the sale. Tell them you're interested in bidding online, and they can approve you there to bid, view, and bid right there on DVAuction.com. Shipping. We're doing a lot of shipping this week, probably more than any other week of the year. But we'll talk about that in a second. We had a moderate Monday opening up. Your board was just kind of fairly eventful. We lost a little bit of ground on live cattle futures. Some of the back months were up some, and it was kind of the same, but mostly higher on feeder cattle. So that's good that we didn't see anything that really a big move to start the week, and it's in the last several weeks it's been down big on a Monday, so it's just nice not to have a hole to dig out of all ready to start out. Your stock market was moderately higher there, as most of your industry, most of the investment people are now planning on a Trump victory, very likely, especially after the assassination attempt on him. So you're going to have some people kind of changing their mind and maybe giving some sympathy there, which we'll take a win however we can get it. We did see that Donald Trump has selected a new vice presidential candidate, and it's going to be J.D. Vance, which I was rooting for Tim Scott. I thought that was kind of a no-brainer to pick Tim Scott, but I guess J.D. Vance will be okay too. So most people don't think it's going to change anything one way or the other who he picked, so I guess he picked who he wanted. But talk about shipping yearlings. Now there's going to be a lot of green yearlings. I mean, nothing but grass and some mineral blocks, guys. We got a ton of them. I mean, a ton coming off, especially this week, but next week too, but especially this week, because you only get 90 days out there in the Flint Hills and Osage for the most part, and everybody pretty much does the same kind of leasing out there, so you only get 90 days, and most of the cattle went out in mid-April, so guess what? You got to give off there. And I know for the guys that are buying the cattle out there, it's frustrating for them because everybody wants to ship within about 5 or 6 days, and there's hundreds of thousands of cattle out there to try to get shipped, and not that many places to put them. I mean, it's like a funnel. You're trying to get all those cattle crammed into smaller holes. You got several buyers out there, but really there's not that many outlets to send those cattle. So it's difficult to get everything done. There's only so many trucks available. There's only so many cowboys available. There's only so many representatives of the feedlots or the buyers to get those cattle checked out, weighed up, and sent on their way. And it's just going to be a really busy time out in there. It's going to be really hot here early this week in that area, and then kind of moderate later in the week, which will be very, very welcome. I haven't made any plans yet to attend shipping. I've been able to the last 2 or 3 years go out with my good buddy Jimmy Craig and get to witness some shipping and kind of see what's going on out there, and then I can kind of relay that information to you. And I talked with him last week and didn't really look like I was going to be able to do that, but now I've got to travel back up to Northwest Missouri to attend Celebration of Life. So maybe they can fit me in somewhere. Maybe they can find a hole for me to stand in, or hopefully it's not the gate. But I do like to go along on those. I grew up going to those with my dad when I was a kid, and we ship every day, but it was always in the fall of the year then, shipping calves off those New Mexico ranches. But I always enjoy doing that, and might be able to participate in one of those shippings here later on this week. Let's talk about your board to open the week. August live cattle futures were down 1/4 at 182.12. I guess they like 182.12, and that is 12 bucks behind your 5 area cash live weighted average there, and it's even 5 bucks under or more than that under what your Southern Plains traded for. So I guess that's where it wants to be in August, and we're on the back side of July already. So like I said, it's very frustrating there. October was down 27 cents at 183.80. Your back months were mixed from down 10 cents to up as much as 70 cents. Feeder cattle contracts for August up 12 cents at 258.77. September was up 80 cents at 258.90. Back months on feeder cattle up 52 cents to up 92 cents. And then we've lost our July contracts on our grain. So how about December corn? That's your harvest month there. Up 2.5 cents a bushel at 406 3/4. November beans up 1.5 cents at 1041.5 cents a bushel. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for September up 1 3/4 cents at 557 1/4. Talk about your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle direct movement in your 5 area feeding region. They sold 67,500 negotiated last week, which was a lot more than just the 38,800 the holiday week, and quite a bit more than the same week a year ago, which was 52,100. But your live fat steers and heifers in your 5 area sold on a live basis, FOB 185 to 199. And that 185 we never really saw until we got the total roundup on them. There was only 63 head that sold at 185, and then nothing till you got up to 187. So it was mostly 187 to 199. There was 1,100 head that sold at 199, which was close to the $2 that we achieved on several strings of cattle, fat cattle, the week before. But your price spread there was $1 to $3 lower, and we lost more ground than we thought on the weighted average, because if you remember the previous week we didn't sell those cattle higher until on Friday, and so it was hard to judge that. And then we come back with a lot of cattle on Friday, and then we got this week's weighted average, and it was 194.24, but that was $2.85 lower than the previous week's weighted average. Ouch, lost nearly $3 there as a weighted average in your 5-area feeding region, guys. And those of you that sell off that weighted average on your formulas and things like that, you get in the market, negotiate some cattle, try to hold the thing up a little bit. Dress sales ranged from 308 to 317. That was steady to $2 lower. And your weighted average on dress sales was 312.60, down just $1.09. But as a whole, your Southern Plains sold $2 lower at 188 for the most part. Northern Plains sold steady to $2 lower at 198 for the most part. Still a $10 spread from the north to the Southern Plains. And dress sales in the Northern Plains were steady to $3 lower, mostly at 312. Nationwide negotiated was 82,800 compared to 51,200 the previous week, and 64,500 the same week a year ago. Of that 82,800, 25% of those were for the 2 to 4 week delivery, which I've always said here in tight supplies, most of those won't come to fruit. They'll call for those cattle sooner than that. But negotiated grid sales last week, 46,200 head. Forward contracting made up 16,300 head last week. And formula sales back up where they normally are at 267,400 head. Trading formula based off the little drab of trade that we do on a negotiated basis, and then a series of premiums and discounts from that. But of the 4 out of 5 feeding areas that we get information from, Iowa sold 29,500 negotiated last week. Nebraska sold 18,300. Kansas sold 12,200, which is pretty good for them. And Texas 7,600 last week of negotiated sales. Box beef cutout values were mixed, but we continue now to see that choice select spread tighten, and it's tightened up a bunch. Of course, there's hardly any select product on the market. Not sure who's really driving the market for that, but there's not much of it out there. There's some supermarkets that feature select meat and some programs too. But choice cuts down 57 cents at $321.49. Select up $2.51 on Monday afternoon at $304.86. Your slaughter just for Monday, 118,000 was estimated, which was 6,000 better than the previous week and 2,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. I can't imagine you not being able to find this report, but if you like this report and you're having trouble finding it on a regular basis, just pull out your phone and text the word flash to 209 Corbett or 209-267-2488, and just text the word flash to them. Every morning you will get a text with a link to this report, and you'll no longer have to search for it, guys. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Monday, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer, sitting at $256.59. That was down $1.46 compared to the end of last week. That's quite a bit lower than the latest CME cash feeder cattle index at 261.88. So it's going to have some tumbling to do. You can bet your money on that. That's going to come down at least to where your real-time index is at here by the time it comes out the next time. Talk about your bigger sales on Monday. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 6,300. Market was $4 to $8 lower. Joplin Regional Stockyards had 6,400. The steers were $2 to $4 lower. Heifers steady to $3 lower. And this was expected because your late week sales last week were lower. These sales were strong to steady to higher last week, so it had a little dropping to do on the trends to get down there where they belong, but didn't completely fall out of bed. Still not too bad. If you're wondering what your market is, we can find it there at Joplin Regional Stockyards. It is your National Beef Wire stick out sale of the day. And on your feeders, there were 75% steers. Of course, they featured yearlings and had a lot of loads of yearling steers in there, and not that many heifers. But Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. You see 441 head of 5-weight steers, average 553 at 286.16. At 483 head of 6-weight steers, average 664 at 278.42. 515 head of 7-weight steers in Joplin, average 733 pounds, weighted average price 255.96. There were 1,839 head of 8-weight steers at the Joplin Regional Stockyards. They averaged 850 right on the button, with a weighted average price on all of them at 250.14, weighing right at 8.5. That's pretty impressive, guys. Almost 1,100 head of 9-weight steers, average 953 at 238.49. On the heifers, there were 464 head of 5-weight heifers. They averaged 555 at 265.72. 458 head of 6-weight heifers, averaged 658 at 259.20. The best quote, their most impressive quote that I saw coming out of Joplin on Monday was on some heifers. 74 head of 686-pound heifers bring 276. Thought that was awfully good. How about some other individual quotes? How about Bluegrass Stockyard South in Stanford, Kentucky sold 120 head through the ring. They were steers. They weighed 846 and bring 261. That's a big price anywhere, guys. How about Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri? They sold 74 steers, weighed 728 at 292. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Mackerson No BS top quote for the day, come from Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota. They're a DVAuction broadcaster. You can view and bid all their sales right on DVAuction.com. They had a long string of big steers, 512 head of them, weighed 959 and bring 250, 210. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.